I will be doing a quick tank review for the Chinese Tier 5 medium tank, the Type T-34. This vehicle, for the most part, it performs and plays just like the Soviet counterpart. So the play style, the main performance of the tank, and the stats are the same for the most part, with some minor differences between the Soviet and the Chinese one when it is fully upgraded. The Type T-34, when you are playing toward the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses, it is quite the good Tier 5 medium tank to use properly when you know the vehicle's strengths and weaknesses. Let's get into the vehicle stats now. The vehicle stats when it is fully upgraded, it is not that good nor bad, it is just average. The gun that I went with, it is the 57mm gun. This is the best gun on this tank. So what is good about this gun exactly? You have a high rate of fire, okay penetration value for the vehicle TL, with a low damage output, with the gun being quite accurate, so you can technically snipe with this if you have to when it comes to medium range quite well enough. The only downside due to the low damage output per shot with this gun is that if you are going to be inflicting a lot of damage in a match with this gun, you have to fire a lot of rounds with this gun. With the superior load time that this gun does have, you can easily reduce a full hit point tank down to 0 hit points in a hurry, especially whenever you're top tier or you have support. The rate of fire, with a good crew and equipment setup, it can be about 30 rounds per a minute, with a quick load time of just being underneath 2 seconds. The turret traverse is pretty good at 48, so the turret can turn around quickly enough if you have to in a hurry. Now, this is where my first complaint about the tank comes into play. The gun depression downward. 5 degrees downward, that is pretty bad. If you have played Chinese tanks before, or Soviet tanks that have the same gun depression, it is nothing new to worry about. This 5 degrees of gun depression downward, it can cause a bit of a problem at times, especially if you're not on flat terrain. Gun elevation upward is pretty good, 25 degrees upward. The aiming time, it is pretty good, 2.3 seconds, so you can effectively fully aim in onto the target and fire at the target and hit them reliable enough with the superior rate of fire that you have with the okay penetration value as well. Accuracy 0.34, so you can hit most of the targets easily enough if you know where to aim the gun and fully aim in onto the target. Now, the vehicle survivability, it's not that bad nor good. 450 hit points, you can take a few hits before you are killed. Besides that, the armor, it is okay, just like the Soviet counterpart. It is angled though, so if you angle the armor properly, you can ricochet a few rounds. Besides that, most of the guns, they can penetrate your armor easily enough, as their gun is a high penetrating gun, and know the vehicle weak spots. Hull armor in the front, it is 45, with the angling not added into the factor. Turret front, it is 52, with the gun mantle being a bit more thicker. Side hull armor, it is 40. Turret armor, it is 52, with the angling there as well. Hull rear 40, with the turret wheel at 45. The armor for the most part, whenever you're top tier and you angle the armor quite well, you can ricochet a good amount of damage easily enough. Now the vehicle weak spots, it is the lower plate, the machine gun nest, the driver part here, the capla, the engine. It can be hit easily enough, especially from artillery rounds. The side, it can be penetrated easily enough. So the ammo rack, it can be damaged easily enough. So be careful about that. Due to the armor not being that thick, the crew members and the modules, they can be damaged easily enough. So be careful about that. Now, the mobility, it is fantastic for weighing about 29 tons. With the 500 horsepower engine, you have a 17.21 horsepower to 1 ton ratio. So that means you can easily reach the 55-kilometer mark top speed easily enough, especially whenever you are on flat terrain going in a straight line or going downhill easily enough. Besides that, this tank, it is quite quick when it comes to uneven or rocky terrain at times. The reverse speed is pretty good, 20 kilometers backwards. The Type T-34, especially if you're using it with other fast mediums, you can easily wolfpack a enemy tank and finish it off in a hurry if you use the appropriate tactics. The hold reverse is pretty good at 45 degrees. Now the vehicle concealment, it is not that great nor bad. When it is staying still, it is about 16.6, so you can remain off of enemy radar for a short amount of time until you fire behind camouflage. The camouflage rating, it is a bit better because of the one crew member that I had camouflage picked for them. On the move, it is 12.46. So the camouflage rating, it is not that great, nor bad. Now, the vehicle spotting, it is okay for its tier. 350 for the base view range, with a radio signal range of 550. Due to the vehicle mobility and how quick it is, the view range and the signal range, it is not going to be a problem for you. Except for the view range, it may be a bit of an issue for you at times, especially if you have to snipe at an enemy target when it comes to medium to long distances if the enemy tank it is out of your view range. Now, let's cover the research part of the tank now. The vehicle research is an easy tank to go through as you will have to do very little research to get to the 5916 or the Type 58. Let's begin off with the tracks. You can use the first pair of tracks throughout the entire grind and mount all of the equipment onto the tank still. But if you want to have a slightly better haul traverse speed from 40 to 42 degrees, get the top pair of tracks for that reason alone. Engines, you have two to use. The first one is a 480 horsepower engine, with the second one being a 500 horsepower engine. The second engine, it is usable on the Type 58, so researching the top engine and using it ASAP, you will have a bit of a horsepower to ton ratio difference when you switch between the first engine to the second one. So that 20 horsepower, it does make a bit of a difference. The radios, there's nothing to write home about. It is the same as the Soviet radios at this tier. They are not that great. The first radio, it is 325 meter for the signal range, with the top radio, the 9RM, being the best one on the tank here, so unlock it and use it ASAP as it is usable on the 5916, the Type 58, and the IS-2 as well. The turrets, you have two to use. You will have to research the second turret anyways to get to the Type 58 and the 57mm gun as well to get to the 5916. The only difference between the first turret to the second turret is that you have better gun stats, a better view range, better turret better traverse speed, and more hit points as well, while able to use the superior 57mm gun as well. So unlock and use the top turret ASAP as it is the best turret that this tank have to offer you. Now, the guns. You have two to use. The 76mm gun and the 57mm gun. The 76mm gun, it is not that great. It's a fast firing gun with good damage output if you can penetrate something. With the accuracy, not that great, 0.46 compared to the 57mm gun. The only downside to the 76mm gun is the penetration value alone. So, with 86mm on the average AP penetrating shot, you will have a problem penetrating most of the tanks. So unless if you know where the enemy weak spots are and use primarily gold or AP to penetrate those areas, you will have a problem penetrating most of the tanks whenever you are not top tier, unless if you are going to be flanking their sides and rear. Now, the 57mm gun here, as I mentioned before, it is a superior gun of the two. You have a high rated fire gun with good penetration value for its tier, pretty good accuracy and aiming time as well, with the only downside of doing less damage per shot. But due to the high rate of fire, you can easily compensate the low damage output in a shorter amount of time due to the superior rate of fire that you can easily fire on a tank while on the move. So use either of these two guns to get the necessary research points to move onto the 5916 or the Type 58. Now, I will be covering the consumables, the ammunition layout, the equipment, and how are you going to be using the Type T-34. Let's begin off with the consumables. Consumables, I would go with the standard array: first aid kit, repair kit, and a manual fire extinguisher. The ammunition count, you have a good amount of ammo to use in a match, 100 rounds, so you will never run out of ammo in a match for the most part. The majority of the ammo I would be using, it is AP and some APCR when the situation arises. With the regular AP, you can penetrate most of the targets easily enough if you know where to aim the gun at. APCR rounds, it is quite good to use against the heavily armored targets that you will be going up against. HE, it is one of those useful ammo types still, especially if you are going to be firing against a thinly armored target, especially whenever you're top tier. The equipment that I went with is the medium caliber tank gun rammer to decrease what is already a good loading time for the gun already, and the enhanced Christie suspension, so the vehicle have a easier time traversing over uneven terrain while receiving the benefit of this piece of equipment. The other pieces of equipment that you can use, it is up to you and how you want to play the Type T-34 mainly. The enhanced gunning drive is a good idea to reduce what is already a good aiming time by 10%. For the view range enhancements, you can go with the coated optics or the binocular telescope option. The medium spoiler, it's not a bad idea. With the recent update, your stun duration it is decreased a bit, while having that extra protection against ramming and the crew member injuries. The red ammo rack, it's not a bad idea to reduce the vehicle chance of getting ammo racked from the front or side. The improved ventilation, it's generally a good idea to use this overall as it improves the crew and the tank performance by a bit. The toolbox, it is not a bad idea as well as your repairs, they are done a bit more faster. Now, how are you going to be using the Type T-34? The matchmaking for the tank, you have Tier 5 matchmaking from Tier 5 up to Tier 7 maximum. The vehicle, when you are top tier, you can do quite well in this tank, especially when you are using the appropriate strategy and using wolf pack tactics as well. The main way you will be using this tank whenever you are top tier is to play the tank quite aggressively whenever you are using wolf pack tactics. You can easily overwhelm a enemy tank in a hurry as long as the group focus fire on them. Whenever you are not top tier in a tier 6 or 7 match, you can do quite well still playing as the very aggressive medium tank still, using the Wolfpack tactics still, but you have to play more cautiously as you can be killed easily enough in that tier area. The other roles that the Type T-34 do quite well is filling the flanking role, the support role, the jack of all trades type of tank, so being not that great at one thing, but nor bad either. You can play the tank as a bit of a sniper at times, if need be, using the 57mm gun when it comes to medium and long range only. With the vehicle OK camouflage rating, you can play the tank as a improvised passive or as a active scout if need be. Besides that, the Type T-34 is a jack of all trades type of medium tank to play. I have one replay to show you how well you can do in the Type T-34. So let's go to that replay now. This replay, I will show you how well you can do in the Type T-34 when you're top tier and playing quite aggressively whenever you're top tier. I will speed the replay up a bit. Looking at the map, I go to a part of the map where I can make a breakthrough on my side with the support that I have. In the 9-0 line, me, the Luch, and the vehicles and the 679 will support our push up here to the best of their abilities. I wait for a moment to move forward to have the advantage on the enemy tanks ahead of you. The Covenanter, I move up more to get a good shot on the Covenanter. 2 shots, the Covenanter is dead. This is where the gun depression for the Type T-34, it can cause a bit of a problem for you. Fortunately, with the angle of the hill here entering, I could easily shoot the T-67 if the vehicle was much more lower in its silhouette and the hill was much more steeper. I couldn't shoot over the hill there. The M4 here, I am going to use my superior rate of fire on the M4 to finish it off ASAP after healing my driver. 3 kills so far, and just underneath 1k damage. Pretty good. The Stuggy there is going to be killed quickly enough by the friendlies in the area there. Once my tracks are repaired, I will push on the offensive here. The Stug, the Valentine, the IKB, they are in this area here. So, my team and I, we are going to kill them off quickly. The Valentine here, I'm going to use the gun traverse of that vehicle. It have to my advantage to flank it. With a rate of fire, I killed the vehicle off in a hurry. Fortunately, I dodged the Matilda shot. Use my rate of fire here to finish the Matilda off with what support I do have. Now it is the T-82. I'm doing quite well so far. I have a Top Gun almost. If I can kill the T-82, I can get the Top Gun in this match. The T-82 on 2. If the Covenanter wasn't there in the area, I could have had finished the vehicle off, got a Top Gun, and did quite exceptionally well being top tier in this match. This match, I showed you the vehicle's strengths, weaknesses, and how to use the vehicle quite effectively when you are playing the tank quite offensively whenever you're top tier. This match, I got myself 5 kills, did about 1150 damage, which is quite nice, and blocking about 350 damage. Let's go to the garage now to do a brief recap on the tank itself. Let's do a brief recap on the Type T-34. The tank itself, it is not that bad nor good. It is just average. As long as you play to the vehicle's strengths, weaknesses, and use the correct tactics, you can do quite well in this tank. The tank itself, by itself, it is not that great, but if you are playing it with other fast-paced mediums, you can do quite well in this tank, especially when it comes to wolf-pack tactics. This is one of those tanks that you can get away with a lot of stuff if you know what you are doing in the first place when it comes to playing a quite aggressively and using wolfpack tactics. This tank, as long as you know what you are doing in the tank, this is one of those tanks that you can do quite well in it easily enough. As long as you play toward the vehicle's strengths, weaknesses, and use the appropriate strategy. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the Type T-34 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.